Like, were there really that many more affairs and stuff? Or what was happening? And I have some stories that I haven't been given the green light to share with you on my channel, with my family. But suffice it to say that we definitely ran into a situation. Hi, my name's Danielle Romero. So thank you so much for being with me here on my channel, where we talk about American identity and family stories. I love to browse on Reddit. I don't remember my username or password or how to get back on, but I love to check out the genealogy subs, the ancestry DNA subs, and just see what people are talking about. And I came across a thread that felt so relevant for this channel, for my family story, and maybe yours. It was about having someone want to reach out to the white side of their family. And I want to jump right over to that thread and read it with you and talk about it and see what you think. But before we do that, do me a favor and go ahead and subscribe to my not so secret new channel. I'm doing it with my husband. We really enjoyed the live stream that we did with you all a couple weeks ago. We started a second channel and it has nothing to do with ancestry or genealogy or history. I love these topics, but they can be so heavy. We're not wine drinkers, so we're trying it and just kind of discussing some relevant topics in our life. And so I would love to have you over there. So go subscribe and get caught up on what we're doing. And let's jump over to the shared screen. So it says, should I reach out to the white side of my family? And this is the Ancestry DNA sub. I'm a Black American woman who is mixed with white. And since I got my ancestry results, I noticed I have a lot of white cousins. And when I say white, I mean like 95% white. Never met them before, but they are cousins on my dad's side. Well, I never knew my great-grandpa or what his last name was. Neither did my grandpa or my dad, so I'm just curious to know what his last name was or what my last name was supposed to be because I ended up taking my great-grandma's last name. I'm just nervous because I know it'll probably ruffle some features. I think it was an autocorrect. Some feathers, knowing our great-grandpa was having an affair with a Black woman. What do you think? So before we get into the comment section, which I didn't do, I saved that to do with you. Just if you're new to my channel, I started this because my mom's grandmother wasn't totally forthcoming with her ancestry, you could say. And she was born in Louisiana and she left Louisiana in the 1930s. She had married an Irish American man, my great grandfather, and he was from New York, but he was down in Louisiana working, and they moved back to New York eventually. And basically my grandmother grew up telling us that we were French. That was kind of the family story. And so after some of us started taking DNA tests, well, I definitely started seeing, well, there were some surprises, obviously, but cousins. And now that you could see the pictures, I love this part of it. When you see the cousins that you match with and you can see not only their surname, but their face. And I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like there are so many cousins out there, but she's talking about kind of the inverse almost of our family story, where it's like, I'm reaching out to people who have predominant, maybe African heritage or indigenous Mexican heritage or whatever, reaching out to them and saying, hey, we're related, trying to figure out all of that stuff. So I wish that she was my family and she had been trying to reach out to me because I would have loved it. But let me tell you, I have had such a mixed bag of people either like seeing messages and ignoring it or like not responding. Sometimes people do respond. It's so wonderful, but it can be iffy, especially when we're talking about, you know, I'm assuming this person's maybe around my age, great grandparent probably grew up in the 1920s, 1930s-ish. That was a different time, as we've been exploring on the channel. So let's see what some of the top comments are. I have it sorted by best. No harm in reaching out. Go for it. They will reply or they won't, just like any other ancestry message recipient. That's kind of true, but it's not really the same. I think if I was researching, you know, if I'm on there with an Italian last name and I'm reaching out to someone that has Italian ancestry as well, and we're kind of chatting about a thing, that doesn't rock the boat quite the same way, right? this person is saying, I think when you sign up for Ancestry, you're tacitly agreeing that you might get a surprise. Message them. You'll either get a response or not. Now, I'm fully in this camp. Message them. The way I have messaged has changed throughout the years, but definitely message them. This person said, yes, I'm white. I love seeing the mix of folks I'm connected to. That's the most exciting to me. Other races or folks outside the U.S. And, if you've been on here, I don't love the term white, black, brown, yellow, red, whatever. The colors, because when she's saying that, it's like, well, what are you? Are you like Irish and Sicilian? Are you English and Russian or whatever? But I know what she's saying. This person said, if you were in my family, I'd be delighted to hear from you. So would I. We aren't white. We aren't so white in this generation, and we aren't lying to ourselves about how virtuous our ancestors were. And they're referring to the fact that her great-grandfather had an affair. People are complicated and messy. I hope you connect with them and meet some cool people. But this person, I think, this person says, as long as you're mentally ready for rejection, I say go for it. They may be feeling the same way, not wanting to offend or ruffle your feathers, assuming you do not care to explore your white ancestry because of the history in our country. And so basically it sounds like this whole thing was great grandpa was kind of a flake, and now she's realizing that she can get connected to his history by connecting with these folks. This person said, I'm white and I've enjoyed chatting with Black cousins on Ancestry. We talked about common last names and narrowed down our relationship to a branch of my family. It made me happy to see how much we had in common, similar jobs, for example. I really love connecting with people and have been sad at how few people actually do respond to the messages. I think knowing my ancestors had an affair wouldn't bother me so much as knowing they had enslaved people. When I got my ancestry results back the first time, I had to sit with that for a while. Some folks may not want to think about that too hard and may not respond. Someone did post something here a few weeks about getting an incredibly offensive response from a white relative. I missed that one. So I guess there's always a chance that people will respond poorly. I wish I knew what that one was. Let me know if you know what that is. That's super interesting. So I agree with this idea of be prepared to be rejected. And I think that is a huge part of the experience of doing family research stuff, whether you're in America or not. Whether you're in America or not, yeah, it doesn't matter because people are people, right? People have secrets. Our grandparents have secrets. Our parents have secrets. Our aunties, our uncles, our great-grandmas. Like, there are secrets. And not all the secrets are going to be as earth-shattering as maybe finding out your dad's real legal surname that you didn't get because something crazy happened, or like my family where, ancestry wasn't shared and now we have to kind of go digging and figure things out. But I think secrecy is kind of a human trait, and it's been kind of surprising to me how many secrets are being exposed with these DNA tests. And not even ethnically speaking. I'm talking like how many people are popping up now and saying, I just found out I had a bunch of half siblings. My dad's not my biological dad, my mom, blah, 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 blah. And I was talking with my husband about this, and I was like, do you think that the last generation was just doing a whole lot more of that stuff and it's just being caught now with the DNA? Or is it just that people are just doing that stuff all the time and we are able to now kind of pinpoint things with DNA in a way that we just couldn't before? Like were there really that many more affairs and stuff, or what was happening? And I have some stories that I haven't been given the green light to share with you on my channel with my family, but suffice it to say that we definitely ran into a situation where someone's parent was not their biological parent, and that came out while I was looking for the ancestry answers. Well, this came up and this opened a whole can of worms. Like, we're still working through that and what that means. And the idea of reaching out to people. Do you reach out? And it's kind of weird. I told you that, the way I have reached out to people has changed, and it definitely has, because before, in my mind, I just assumed that they wanted to hear from me. Yeah, I don't assume that anymore. That'd give way too much information. And now I try to just be as friendly and brief and direct as possible and not just have this open-ended thing, but trying not to message people unless I have an actual question for them. Because I think sometimes people are just like, what is this? Like, I don't want like a new bestie, like on Ancestry. So I try to ask a question or clarify a connection or something. But I haven't been reaching out to people as much as I used to. I kind of take a break from that. It can be exhausting. I just wanted to jump down to a couple more. So I just want to finish up with this one. So that was on the other side of your situation. I had a distant cousin contact me through one of the ancestry sites. He was unsure exactly how we were related. So I did some digging in my family tree and I discovered that we shared a great grandfather. Okay, so that's a pretty close connection. That's pretty close. And he said, well, maybe great, don't remember for sure, but still. So this great grandfather, he's saying, was a white man. He was married to and he had children with a white woman, this person's great grandmother, who died. But great grandfather then apparently lived with and had children with a black woman. This was the cousin's great grandmother. So they didn't share great grandmother, but they shared great grandfather. So it's possible though that the marriage was not an option because they lived in the deep South. She was not listed as a domestic or an employee on the census records though. So I told the cousin this, and also that I had had multiple generations of family members in this town that he lived in. Anyway, it turned out this distant cousin was black, and he was shocked and he was shaken to discover that they both shared a great grandfather who was white, and I never heard from him again. You never know what people may be surprised. There's high stakes here when we're talking about our family, our ancestors, the connections, and the very fabric of your family. And so it is interesting to be having these big revelations with people, like across messaging on like a DNA site. Like, I don't know, we all accept it now. Like this is normal for us, but it is real. This is really weird. Well, what's the alternative? I don't know. I remember as a kid, I wasn't allowed to watch Maury or any of those shows, but I do remember like pulling out the envelope and like the results are in, you're not the father. And like, that's the other way that this could shake out. You needed a third party to do that for you. So now we're doing it, but we're doing it far away. There could be a lot of stuff to work through here. So let me know how that has gone for you. Are you messaging matches? Have you had those kind of surprises? I think another thing that has happened with me is I have reached out to people who didn't respond to me, and then later they did, and we connected. And I think sometimes people they're not in a place, they're not ready for whatever you're bringing to the table, but they will remember, and later on they may come around. And so I would just say, when you reach out, just, reach out with graciousness and gentleness, and be willing to be patient with people, because this is not like playing baseball. Like this is a different kind of hobby. So let me know what you think, and make sure that you jump over to that secret channel. I would love to see you guys over there, and we'll talk soon.